She was down a break in the third set, trailing 1-3 on Roman clay against a player who had just taken a full set off her, and she didn't blink. Not once. Let that sink in, because what Eala did at the Foro Italico this week wasn't just a win. It was a statement, a declaration, a psychological resume entry that every player on the WTA Tour needs to read very carefully. I want to be precise here because precision is what separates analysis from noise. Eala came into Rome ranked 42nd in the world. She walked out of that first round ranked 38th, 4 places, 35 ranking points, added to a total that now sits at 1,310. And if you think that's a minor administrative update, if you think this is just the typical grind of a mid-ranked player collecting crumbs at a WTA 1000, then you fundamentally do not understand the trajectory this 20-year-old Filipina is on. This isn't housekeeping. This is momentum construction. This is how champions are built, one brutal three-setter at a time. Let me take you inside this match because the scoreline 6-0, 3-6, 6-4 does something deceptive. It makes it look clean. It was not clean. Magdalena Frech is not a soft first round draw. She's 28 years old, ranked 45th, a seasoned clay court operator who knows exactly how to neutralize aggressive left-handers with her heavy topspin and her ability to redirect pace. She is the kind of player who absorbs pressure, resets the rally, and waits for you to make the unforced error. And in that first set, Eala gave her absolutely nothing to work with. The first set was a technical masterpiece from Eala, 6 games to 0. I want you to think about what that requires against a WTA top 50 clay courter. It requires a kick serve that consistently lands deep and pulls the returner wide. It requires an inside-out forehand that punishes any short ball before the opponent can reset. It requires movement, not just speed, but anticipatory movement, reading the trajectory before the ball is even struck. Eala was doing all three simultaneously in that opening set, and Frech had no answer. Zero. But then the second set happened. And this is actually the part of this story that I think matters more than people realize. Frech made adjustments. She started standing further behind the baseline to give herself more time on Eala's serve. She changed her return position, went cross court more frequently, disrupted the rhythm that Eala had so thoroughly established. And it worked. Frech took the second set 6-3, and suddenly we had a match. Before you interpret that second set as weakness, and I know some of you will right, understand this. The ability to lose a set and still win a match is one of the most underrated skills in professional tennis. Holding your nerve when momentum has completely shifted, when the crowd energy is gone, when your opponent has found her groove and you've lost yours, that is not a given. That is a learned skill. And for a 20-year-old who is only in her second year on the main WTA tour, demonstrating that quality on the biggest clay stages in the world is significant. And then the third set opened with a gut punch. Eala was broken in the very first game, down 1-3 before she could even exhale. The mathematical reality was stark. In WTA tennis at this level, when you're broken first in the deciding set, your conversion rate to winning that set drops dramatically. The percentages were not in her favor. The crowd wasn't behind her. Frech had all the momentum, all the confidence, every single psychological advantage that clay court tennis can manufacture. She won 4 of the next 5 games, 4 of the next 5. That's not a comeback. That's a recalibration. That's a player who trusted her baseline aggression, went back to the patterns that worked in the first set, and methodically dismantled the lead that Frech had built. The court coverage she showed in those final 5 games, the ability to retrieve balls that should have been winners, to turn defense into offense with a flick of that lethal left-handed cross-court forehand, it was exactly what you'd expect from a player who has been training under elite conditions since she was a teenager at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Now, here's where I need you to pay attention because the road ahead in Rome is what makes this truly electric. The second round puts Eala against Wang Xinyu, the 31st seed. Wang is a technically sound Chinese player with a reliable baseline game, good court coverage, and enough experience at this level to pose a genuine threat. It won't be a 6-0 set. Wang will make Eala work for every single point. But here's the thing, Eala is now match sharp in a way she wasn't a week ago. She has a full 3 set battle in her legs, in her mind, in her muscle memory. She knows what Roman clay feels like under pressure. Wang is beatable, and Eala knows it. And if she beats Wang, if you haven't been paying attention, now is the time. A third round match against Elena Rybakina, the number 2 seed, one of the most technically complete players on the entire WTA tour, becomes a real possibility. Rybakina with that flat, penetrating serve and that crushing forehand is a different animal entirely. But I've been watching Eala closely enough to tell you this. She is not intimidated by that matchup. Her left-handed serve geometry creates natural problems for Rybakina's return patterns. Her willingness to take the ball early and redirect pace is exactly the style that can create cracks in Rybakina's usually impenetrable baseline wall. It would be the biggest match of Eala's career to date, and right now I believe she wants it. Let me give you the ranking context because numbers tell a story that emotion sometimes obscures. Eala hit a career high ranking of 29th in March. She is currently sitting at 38th in the live rankings after this single win. A third round appearance in Rome, 3 matches at a WTA 1000, could push her as high as 35th. A quarterfinal run, we're talking top 30 re-entry. A semifinal, we start having conversations about seedings at Roland Garros, which is less than 3 weeks away. 3 weeks, the French Open, the biggest clay court Grand Slam on the planet. The implications of what happens in Rome this week are not contained to Rome. There's something else I want to address, and this is the insider layer of this whole situation that I think is being massively overlooked. Eala pulled out of the Catalonia Open last week, a WTA 125 event, on the opening day. No official explanation, no injury announcement. Now, when a player of her caliber skips a challenger level event right before a WTA 1000, one of two things is happening. Either there's a minor physical concern being managed very carefully by her team, or she made a calculated decision to preserve her body and her mental energy specifically for Rome. Given the performance we just witnessed, the explosiveness, the court coverage, the physical intensity of a 3 set battle, I lean very strongly toward the latter. Her coaching team made a strategic call: save the matches for when they count, earn the points where the points are worth earning. The Filipino tennis community, and let me be honest with you, I have been watching the social media reaction, and it is absolutely electric right now, has been rallying behind Eala with the kind of energy that you only see when a country recognizes it has a genuine, once in a generation athletic talent. The pride is real, the passion is real, and that support system, that sense of purpose that comes from representing an entire nation's sporting hopes is not a small thing. It is fuel. It is the kind of internal fire that elevates a player's performance in the moments when the physical reserves are depleted and pure willpower has to carry you through. She is also, by the way, still only 20 years old. I keep coming back to that because I think people don't fully process what it means to be doing what she is doing at this age, at this level, on this surface. Iga Swiatek was 19 when she won her first French Open. Carlos Alcaraz was 19 when he won his first US Open. Coco Gauff was 19 at her first major. The ages of first major breakthroughs in modern tennis keep getting younger, and the development curve of Alex Eala, the progression of her rankings, the maturity of her shot selection, the tactical intelligence she's showing in pressure moments, places her directly within that conversation. Not in 5 years, not eventually, right now. Here is my 3 month projection, and I'm going to say it plainly. Alex Alla will be inside the WTA top 30 by the time Roland Garros begins. If she advances to the quarterfinals or beyond in Rome, it happens before the tournament even ends. At Roland Garros itself, she is dangerous enough to reach the second week, and a second week Grand Slam performance would push her inside the top 25. By Wimbledon, if she continues developing at this rate, I believe she will be seeded. A seeded Alex Eala at Wimbledon in 2026. Write that down. Put it somewhere you can find it in July. The WTA Tour has a new force. She serves with her left hand, she wins with her mind, and she refuses, absolutely refuses, to lose in straight sets when the match gets complicated. Magdalena Frech found that out the hard way on Roman clay. Wang Xinyu is about to find out. And if the bracket holds and Elena Rybakina meets her in the third round, then the number 2 seed in this tournament needs to understand something that the rest of the tour is only beginning to grasp. Alex Alla doesn't play to survive, she plays to conquer. And Rome is just the beginning.